ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवतु नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देव गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 19, verse 25. पुंसोऽयं संसृतेर्हेतुर् असन्तोषोऽर्थकामयोः यदृच्छयोपपन्नेन सन्तोषो मुक्तये स्मृतः. Material existence causes discontent in regard to fulfilling one's lusty desires and achieving more and more money. And so, the nature of the material world, material existence causes discontent. So people remain discontent in regard to fulfilling their desires and achieving more money. So how much ever they get, they are not going to be satisfied. This is the design of this material world. So it's foolish to go behind fulfilling material desires and gaining more money. This is the cause for continuation of material life. See, very, very important statement. Because we are discontent, we continue to keep trying, so then our material life continues, which is full of repeated birth and death. But one who is satisfied by that which is obtained by destiny is fit for liberation from this material existence. So, this is the qualification for mukti. Just be satisfied with whatever comes. Very, 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 very difficult. Uh, but if you can just remain satisfied, then we are fit for liberation. Normally, why people are not satisfied? Because their desires and their this one to they want to achieve more money, and that is not happening. So they are dissatisfied. So they again continue to take birth. But one who is satisfied with whatever is obtained by destiny. And we have to remember that there is something called destiny. Unfortunately, the ignorance of the modern civilization makes us think that everything is in my control. So if I didn't get what I wanted, I will try. I will keep trying. Somehow or the other, I will try. But we should understand that, when we do some endeavor, if something has to happen, it will happen. If it doesn't have to happen, it will not happen. Something else will happen. So we have to be satisfied. यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टस्य तेजो विप्रस्य वर्धते तत्प्रशाम्यत्यशनो असन्तोषात् अम्भसेवाशुषूक्षणैः. Brahmana who is satisfied with whatever is providentially obtained is increasingly enlightened with spiritual power. Oh, but the spiritual potency of a dissatisfied Brahmana decreases as fire diminishes in potency when water is sprinkled upon it. So this dissatisfaction is like water being sprinkled on the fire. Especially for Brahmanas, those who are Vaishnava Brahmanas, normal Brahmanas, they should be satisfied with whatever is providentially obtained. Now, obviously, which means that one cannot be a Brahmana if he doesn't have this quality. If somebody got a sacred thread, but he is still, not satisfied with whatever. Krishna is giving, then they will lose their spiritual power. Whatever spiritual power they have, they will lose it. Mm. Tejas, Brahma Tejas. So they lose their Tejas, brilliant effulgence, spiritual power, spiritual potency. So spiritual potency of a dissatisfied Brahmana decreases. And spiritual potency of a satisfied Brahmana goes on increasing because of his sadhana, and so he is on the right platform. And once whose spiritual power increases anyway, they will also be able to control their mind desires also. Huh? But this is interesting. One should just be satisfied. If one is satisfied, even if there are material desires coming through to their minds, they will eventually get the power to overcome it. But if one is not satisfied, then they will never be able to get the spiritual power to give up these material desires. Looks like both are connected, but the point is just being satisfied. Our helplessly getting, because our vasanas helplessly running behind material desires will stop. If we can just be satisfied with whatever is coming. But anyway, both of them are somewhat related. So it's meaning somebody who is not satisfied, he also wants more desires. He has more desires and is not satisfied. So he will never be able to, he will keep losing his spiritual power. But those who are practicing devotion, fortunately for them, because of their spiritual practices, the spiritual power goes on increasing also. But at the same time, if they remain dissatisfied, then it will go on decreasing also. So it will be like no effect. So let me explain this once again. My understanding here is one who is not satisfied. His spiritual power will decrease. And if you don't have spiritual power, then you will not be able to control your desires further. So which means that it's like a cycle. So no, not satisfied, lose spiritual power, become more dissatisfied, lose more spiritual power, like that. But for those who are doing bhakti, if they are not satisfied, they lose spiritual power. But they do sadhana, because of which again they get some spiritual power. But again, because they are not satisfied, they lose that spiritual power. So instead of going down, because of bhakti, maybe we might just remain where we are. But if suppose we are able to be satisfied with whatever we have and we are doing devotion, then our spiritual power will go on increasing. Is this clear? Whatever I'm trying to explain?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you repeat, Prabhuji? I think it's not very clear to me, at
Yeah.
least.
So, see, we are not, if one is not satisfied with material, fulfilling his material desires, then he will lose spiritual potency. Now, this is being said specifically about a Brahmana, but I'm also talking with respect to Vaishnavas. Yeah? So, if suppose say we don't have, we are not satisfied with lusty desires, we lose our spiritual potency. Because we'll engage in materialistic activities, so we lose spiritual potency. Now, this becomes a self-fulfilling, degrading cycle. So, for those who are brahmanas who are not doing any kind of devotion, then they not satisfied with their life, then they lose spiritual power. They lose spiritual power, so they become further dissatisfied, and this goes on, and they keep falling down. This is for a normal brahmana. For a Vaishnava, if suppose say somebody is not satisfied, so they're losing their spiritual power. Okay, but because they're doing bhakti, they're also getting some spiritual power. But they can, again, because they're not satisfied, they're losing that spiritual power. So they get spiritual power, lose spiritual power. So, in some sense, they will remain where they are. They will not fall down. A Brahmana without practicing devotion might fall down because of not being satisfied with his life. Vaishnava will not fall down, will maybe remain where he is, even if he is not satisfied with whatever he has. But a Vaishnava who is satisfied, his spiritual power will go on increasing, and which is what is required to go back to Godhead. So I spoke about a Brahmana losing spiritual power because of dissatisfied life. A Vaishnava being where he is, possibly because of dissatisfied life. And another Vaishnava who is satisfied and hence his goes on making progress in spiritual life by more spiritual power. Is this okay?
Yeah, now it's clear for me. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Because I'm connecting this and Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, last verse. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana. So Prabhupada translates that as one should get this whole discussion about kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. So Krishna finally says that one has to, Prabhupada translate it as by Krishna consciousness, one should get spiritual potency. Now that is what we are doing. That is why we get the strength to overcome our anarthas and we make progress. But if suppose somebody remains dissatisfied with their life, then they will lose power. They will keep losing power. So, which is why we should at least be satisfied with whatever we have. Mm, yeah, I think very important character. तस्मात् त्रीणि पदानि एव वृणेत्वद् वरदर्शभात् एतावतैव सिद्धोऽहं वित्तं यावत् प्रयोजनम्. Therefore, O king, from you, the best of those who give charity, I ask only 3 paces of land. By such a gift, I shall be very pleased. For the way of happiness is to be fully satisfied, to receive that which is absolutely needed. Now, again, I mean, these verses are really very, very powerful. Unfortunately, Prabhupada has not written purport. So, but so for way of happiness is to be fully satisfied, to receive that which is absolutely needed. So just be satisfied if you get your absolute necessities. Mm. Food to live, maybe one place for shelter and clothes. That's all. If somebody can be satisfied with just this much, he will be happy. This is the way of happiness. Not if we are, if we want more than what is absolutely required. And most of the people in Kali Yuga, they live for more. They want more. So they're not going to be satisfied, they're not going to find happiness. Mm. So for materialists, this sounds like a loser's proposition. Just, you have capability to get more, but why should you be satisfied with less? But then that means that they are never going to be happy. Very nice. So this is a new aspect to be thought incorporated into our philosophy is to be satisfied. Mm. Sri Shukra Uvacha Ityukta Hasan aha vanchaatah प्रतिगृह्यताम् आमनाय महीं दातुं जग्राह जल bhajanam. Shukadeva Goswami continued. When the Supreme Person of Godhead had thus spoken to Bali Maharaj, Bali smiled and told him, all right, take whatever you like. To confirm his promise to give Vamana Deva the desired land, he then took up his water pot. This is the process, purification, etc. Vishnave kshamam pradasyantam ushana asureshwaram jana janam chikirshitam Vishnoho shishyam praha vidamvaraha. Understanding Lord Vishnu's purpose, Shukracharya, the best of the learned, immediately spoke as follows to his disciple, who was about to offer everything to Lord Vamanadev. Shri Shukra Uvacha एष वैरोचने साक्षात् भगवान् विष्णुरव्ययः कश्यपाद आदितेर्जातो देवानां कार्यसाधकः. Shukracharya saying, "O son of Virochana, this brahmachari in the form of a dwarf is directly the imperishable Supreme Person of Godhead Vishnu. Hmm. Accepting Kashyapa Muni as his father and Aditi as his mother, he has now appeared in order to fulfill the interests of the demigods." So Shukracharya was so intelligent that he could actually identify that this was Vishnu. प्रतिश्रुतं त्वयैतस्मै यदनर्थम् अजानत न साधु मन्ये दैत्यानां महानुपगतोऽन्यनयः. You do not know what a dangerous position you have accepted by promising to give him land. I do not think that this promise is good for you. It will bring great harm to the demons. So, by agreeing, by wanting to give that brahmachari 3 places of land, you got into a very dangerous position. Not that it is not only bad for you, but it's also bad for the demons, meaning including himself. येषते स्थानमैश्वर्यं श्रियं तेजो यशश्रुतं दास्यत्याच्छिद्य शक्राय मानवको हरिः. This person falsely appearing as a brahmachari is actually the supreme person of Godhead, Hari. Hari means one who takes away, who has come in this form to take away all your land, wealth, beauty, power, fame, and education. After taking everything from you, he will deliver it to Indra, your enemy. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in this regard that the word Hari means one who takes away. If one connects himself with Hari, the Lord takes away all his miseries. And in the beginning, the Lord also superficially appears to take away all his material possessions, reputation, education, and beauty. It superficially appears to take away. But actually, what Hari takes away? He takes away all one's miseries. Stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyaham Anugrunhami Sarishya Tadhanam Shanaihi. The Lord said to Maharaj Yudhishthira, the first installment of my mercy toward a devotee is that I take away all his possessions, especially his material opulence, his money. We might all be wondering, okay, maybe Krishna has not taken our possessions. Does that mean he has not given us his mercy? So Prabhupada is answering this in the next statement. This is the special favor of the Lord toward a sincere devotee. If a sincere devotee wants Krishna above everything, but at the same time is attached to material possessions, which hinder his advancement in Krishna consciousness, by tactics, the Lord takes away all his possessions. So this is the criteria. He doesn't take away for every devotee. He takes away for a sincere devotee who wants Krishna only, but at the same time is somehow attached to material possessions, family, money, etc., which hinder his advancement. Then by tactics, so these tactics, they might look like our karma phala. The Lord takes away all his possessions. So we have 2 options. One, let's not become a sincere devotee at all and desiring only Krishna. Then Krishna will not touch our opulence. So what is the first option? Don't become a sincere devotee who wants only Krishna. Then your material possession, material life, so-called material life is protected. Second, become a sincere devotee and want Krishna above everything and don't be attached to your material possessions. Then also Krishna will not take away anything. In fact, for such a devotee, Krishna gives more because he knows that he is not going to get stuck there and he knows that he is going to use it in his service. The devotee will use the Lakshmi in his service, in Krishna's service. So he will give more. So which side we want to be? Not sincere devotee, but yes, not wanting Krishna over everything. Not becoming sincere devotee at all. Option 1. The second option is becoming a sincere devotee, wanting Krishna above everything, but still being attached. Then danger. Krishna will take away. Third option, sincere devotee, wanting Krishna over everything, not attached material. Then also Krishna will not touch our possessions. Hmm. So we can decide which option we want. Here Shukracharya says that this dwarf brahmachari would take away everything. Thus indicates that the Lord will take away all of one's material possessions and also one's mind. This is what is important for us. Hmm. So for a sincere devotee who wants Krishna over everything and who is not attached to material possessions, Hari takes away all his miseries and also steals his mind. See, in this purport only some to understand this fully we have to connect so many things. If one delivers his mind to the lotus feet of Krishna, Savaimana Krishna Padara Vindayor, one can naturally sacrifice everything to satisfy him. One can naturally sacrifice everything, is ready to sacrifice everything to satisfy Krishna. Although Bali Maharaj was a devotee, he was attached to material possessions. So this was his problem. Therefore, Lord being very kind to him showed special favor by appearing as Lord Vamana to take away all his material possessions and his mind as well. So many people ask why Bali, why Lord did this to Bali? Because of this. He was a sincere devotee, but he was attached to material possessions. This Prahlad Maharaj also says in the next few verses, saying that once he got all these three worlds, he's become intoxicated by that. Therefore, the Lord being very kind showed this special favor to Bali Maharaj. So we have to think about which category we want to belong to. Insincere devotee, no problem. Krishna will not touch your material possession, but then you are all by yourself with respect to your karma phala. In second, the first is insincere devotee. Second is sincere devotee, wanting Krishna, but also having some material attachment to material desires. Then Krishna takes away. Third option, sincere devotee wants Krishna over everything, but at the same time is not attached to material possessions. Not only does Krishna not take, he might even give material possessions, but definitely in all the three, the last two scenarios, Krishna will take away the mind of the devotee. In the first one, again, Krishna will not take away your possessions nor your mind. If one is insincere, then he will not lose material possessions, he will not lose his mind also to Vishnu or Krishna. But in the second and third situations, sincere, wanting Krishna, attached to material positions, Krishna will take away material positions, and will also take away his mind, which means that he will get attracted to Krishna. Third position, sincere devotee wants Krishna, not attached to material positions. He doesn't lose his material positions, but at the same time, Krishna will steal away his mind. Is it okay? Clear? Okay. त्रिविक्रमैरिमाल्लोकान् विश्वकायः क्रमिष्यति सर्वस्वं विष्णुवे दत्वा मूढवर्तिष्यसे katham. So Shukracharya seems to know what Vishnu is going to do. You promised to give him 3 steps of land in charity, but when you give it, he will occupy the 3 worlds. So those 3 steps are not just some small piece of land you are going to lose. He is going to occupy the 3 worlds. You are a rascal. Gopal is adding, I think. You do not know what a great mistake. Oh, Muda. Yeah, sorry. Muda. Muda. Rascal means Muda. Hmm. You do not know what a great mistake you have made. After giving everything to Lord Vishnu, you will have no means of livelihood. How then shall you live? You lose everything. Bali Maharaj might argue that he had promised only 3 steps of land. But Shukracharya, being a very learned Brahmana, immediately understood that this was a plan of Hari, who had falsely appeared there as a brahmachari. See, this is a Brahmana who is misusing his intelligence. The words Mudha, Vartishyase Katham reveal that Shukracharya was a Brahmana of the priestly class. Such priestly Brahmanas are mostly interested in receiving remuneration from their disciples. Therefore, when Shukracharya saw that Bali Maharaj had risked all of his possessions, he understood that this would cause havoc not only to the king, but also to the family of Shukracharya, who was dependent on Maharaj Bali's mercy. This is the difference between a Vaishnava and a Smartha Brahmana. Hmm. A Smartha Brahmana is always interested in material profit, whereas a Vaishnava is interested only in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And today's world, mostly, especially in South India, those who do all kind of rituals, etc., they're Smartha Brahmanas. There are very, very less people amongst these Brahmanas who are not doing things for material profit, but just for maintenance. Actually, sometimes I see that Brahmanas and they're, riding fancy bikes like that. So, which means that their goal is not just to satisfy Brahman, their goal is material profit. Whereas a Vaishnava is not supposed to be interested in anything apart from the satisfaction of the Lord. Somebody might say, no, I'm not interested in any wealth. Somebody might say, no, I'm not interested in followers. Somebody might say, I'm not interested in, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Shikshastakam. One must be na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. And only for the pleasure. Do everything only for the pleasure of Lord. Janam means followers. Oh, so many people follow me or do what I say, or I have to control them. Mm, so that is Janam. Janam is wealth. So they going behind, interested in women and so on. From the statement of Shukracharya, it appears that he was in all respects a Smartha Brahmana interested only in personal gain. So, though he was in the position of Guru of Bali Maharaj, he is not qualified. That is why, one has to be fortunate to get a bona fide Guru. We're all fortunate we are in ISKCON. So, people outside are really, they are at their risk because somebody might accept somebody as Guru, but without knowing what the qualities have to be and without knowing what that person actually is. But for us, at least, by the ISKCON as an institution, protects us. At least some, at least those who are not really living selfless lives. Somehow Krishna will eliminate them from the system. Mm. Mm. So we can trust Krishna for that. If we have sincere desire to do sincere devotional service, and if in case there are some elements in the amongst the devotees who are for their own La Puja Pratishtha, then Krishna will eliminate them if they are small in number. Otherwise, Krishna will take you away and put you in a more safer situation. Because all the others want to be in that situation, then Krishna will take you away. If most of them are sincere, but some are insincere, then Krishna will take away those sincere elements. It's up to Krishna what he wants to do, but he will protect us. क्रमतोगां पदैकेन द्वितीयेन दिवं विभोः खं च कायेन महता तार्तीयस्य कुतो गतिः. Vamanadev will first occupy the three worlds with one step. Then he will take his second step and occupy everything in outer space. And then he will expand his universal body to occupy everything. Where will you offer him the third step? See, looks exactly Shukracharya knew what Vamanadev is going to do. Shukracharya wanted to tell Bali Maharaj how he would be cheated by Lord Vamana. You promised 3 steps, but with only 2 steps, all your positions will be finished. How then will you give him a place for his third step? Shukracharya did not know how the Lord protects his devotee. The devotee must risk everything in his position for the service of the Lord. But he is always protected and never defeated. So, this is the sign of full surrender. Devotee must risk everything in his position for the service of the Lord. Mhm. Very high caliber devotee. This is, but he's always protected and never defeated. So when Krishna says Name Bhakta Pranashyati, this is the standard. But we see the devotees are worried about risking everything and they do material calculations. So when, like, I know so many devotees who, I know of one devotee specifically who came to me and said that he wants to do full-time service. He was a Grihastha, I wanted to do full-time service, but then he was saying many devotees are discouraging him, saying, why are you risking all this? You're so young, you have so many years, anything can happen. What if you don't earn money? What if you get into difficulty? Who will protect you? Who will help you? These were the questions. But we should understand from this. We can risk everything in position for Krishna. But he will always protect the devotee. By materialistic calculation, Shukracharya thought that Bali Maharaj would under no circumstance be able to keep his promise to Brahmachari, Lord Rama. See, this is our problem. We have come to Krishna consciousness, but we still remain on the platform of material calculations. So then, where is the opportunity for us to depend on Krishna? And so we can risk everything for service of the Lord. But be sure, but we can also be assured that Krishna will protect us and never leave us. Mm. And we don't have to make, wherever possible, we can see, whatever needs to be done materially, etc. But sometimes one is faced with situations wherein material calculation just shows impossibility of, like in this case. Shukracharya is saying that it's impossible for Bali Maharaj to keep up his promise. It's impossible. But that is a material calculation. So when we see on a higher platform, we can understand that there are other possibilities that Krishna will protect such devotees. Mm. Nishtam te narake manye ह्यप्रदूदातु प्रतिश्रुतं प्रतिश्रुतस्य नीशाः pratipadayitum bhavan. You will certainly be unable to fulfill your promise, and I think that because of this inability, your eternal residence will be in hell. So this is for those who can't keep up their promise. Saying you won't be able to fulfill your promise, so you'll go to hell. न तद्दानं प्रशंसन्ति येन वृत्तिर्विपद्यते दानं यज्ञस्तपः कर्म लोके वृत्तिमतो यतः. So what are the material calculations? Now he's saying learned scholars do not praise that charity which endangers one's own livelihood. No, these are scholars, these are not devotees. So they do not praise the charity which endangers one's own livelihood. Charity, sacrifice, austerity, and fruitive activities are possible for one who is competent to earn his livelihood properly. So he's saying that if you're earning properly, then you do charity. Don't give charity such that it will endanger your livelihood itself. That is not advisable by learned scholars. Charity, austerity, all these are possible when you have enough and you're earning your livelihood properly. They're not possible for one who cannot maintain himself. That is his point. If you can't maintain yourself at all, then why? What is the question of charity? So, what is the question of giving charity if it's going to take away your livelihood? Don't give such charity. Material calculation. धर्माय यशसे अर्थाय कामाय स्वजनाय च पंचधा विभजन वित्तम इहामुत्र च मोदते. Therefore, one who is in full knowledge should divide his accumulated wealth in 5 parts. So, Rupa Goswami gives 3 parts. Now, Shukracharya will give 5 parts. For religion, for doing dharma, which was, as per Rupa Goswami, devotion 50%. For reputation, not there. We don't have to do anything for reputation, as per Rupa Goswami. For opulence, also, no. For sense gratification, no. For maintenance, 25%. And Rupa Goswami says another 25% for emergency. But here, there's no emergency. There's just sense gratification throughout. Shukracharya's recommendation is full sense gratification. Do dharma, then some artha, then kama. That's all. And he says such a person is happy in this world and in the next. The Shastras enjoin that if one has money, one should divide that all that he has accumulated into five divisions. Okay, Shastra enjoins. Okay, one part for religion, one part for reputation, one part for opulence, one for sense gratification, one to maintain family members. At the present, however, because people are bereft of all knowledge, they spend all their money for the satisfaction of family. So, okay, Prabhupada is saying here nobody spends for religion. Uh, Everybody mostly spends for satisfaction of their family. Rupa Goswami taught us by his own example by using 50% of accumulated wealth for Krishna, 25% for his own self, and 25% for the members of his family. For his own self, meaning for his like emergency. One's main purpose should be to advance in Krishna consciousness. This will include dharma, artha, kama. However, because one's family members expect some profit, one should also satisfy them by giving them a portion of one's accumulated wealth. Not everything. This is a Shastric injunction. So today people mostly they use their money fully there for their family. Mm. So which is what Prabhupada is saying that this is not acceptable. Mm. For devotees, we better try to follow what Srila Rupa Goswami has said. Because these five divisions also is not to achieve Krishna. It's just um, just following Shastra to be little less self-centered. That's all. And because if you follow this, because this is in, if it, Prabhupada is saying this is enjoined in the Shastra, so you will not accumulate sin by doing this. And if you don't do this, then you will accumulate sin. For devotees, it's safer. Just follow this. Let's not confuse ourselves saying that, okay, we thought only three divisions. Now five divisions has come. What should I do for my reputation, opulence? No. This is good enough for us. Rupa Goswami's instructions good enough. अत्रापि बभ्रचैर्गीतं शृणु मे सुर सत्तमा सत्यम ओमिति यत् प्रोक्तं यन्नेति आहान्द्रतं हि तत्. Now he's trying to tell, saying that how can he escape from the promise? Bali Maharaj, Bali Maharaj might think that no, I've already given promise. How can I come out of it? So he's saying, one might argue that since you've already promised, how can you refuse? So best of the demons, just take from me the evidence of Bahvrucha Shruti, which says that a promise is truthful preceded by the word Om, and untruthful if not. Hmm. So if you're not told Om, then you're not actually given a promise. If you simply say yes, 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 I will do it, but you didn't say Om, then it's not a promise at all. So you can just break it. Satyam pushpapalam vidyad atmavruksasya giyate vrikshe jivati tanna syad anritam moolam atmanaha. The Veda has enjoined that the factual result of the tree of the body is the good fruits and flowers derived from it. But if the bodily tree does not exist, there is no possibility of factual fruits and flowers. Even if the body is based on untruth, there cannot be factual fruits and flowers without the help of the bodily tree. Shloka explains that in relation to the material body, even the factual truth cannot exist without a touch of untruth. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The spirit soul is truth and the external energy is untruth. Vaishnava followers, however, do not argue with the Mayavada philosophy. Even if for the sake of argument, the material world is accepted as untruth, the living entity entangled in the illusory energy cannot come out of it without the help of the body. Without the help of the body, one cannot follow a system of religion, nor can one speculate on philosophical perfection, meaning one cannot do dharma, one cannot do jnana. Therefore, the flower and fruit have to be obtained as a result of the body. Without the help of the body, that fruit cannot be gained. So, Basically, this argument is because body is important for gaining anything. Body has to be maintained. So don't do things such that you will not lose your livelihood, and you will cease to, your body might just, you will not live, continue to live. I say do so, take care of yourself. But Vaishnava philosophy says do yukta vairagya. Yes, body is required, but it is not that all attention should be diverted for maintenance of the body. At the same time, one's bodily maintenance should not be neglected. So this is very important for devotees, especially those devotees who don't care about their body. Then their body will trouble them. At the same time, there are some devotees who are just bothered about the maintenance of the body. Both are extremes. So we have to make sure that we maintain our body such that we can continue to serve Krishna and Guru for a long time, as long as we are in this material world. Not that we do some very, very, whimsical, things such which are going to just spoil the health and make us less. Um, yeah, we will be able to do less for Krishna, because maybe we are doing for some time, but after some time our body might not support us at all. We should not do that. So don't play a T20 in cricket parlance. Play a test match. Uh, as long as the body exists, one can thoroughly study the Vedic instructions and thus at the end of life can achieve perfection. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Everything is examined at the time of death. Therefore, all the body is temporary, not eternal. One can take from it the best service and make one's life perfect. So, to be able to do that, one has to maintain one's body in healthy condition as much as possible. So, neither should one be too much worried about the body, and nor should one be completely ignoring, neglecting the body. Both are not correct. You take suitable mm, measures to take care of the body. Mm. Because though it is temporary, it will give us the permanence, it will give us eternality. Because it's only through the body that we can do devotion. Okay, so I'll stop here if anybody has any questions, comments. Anything? Yeah, Shashank.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, lastly, you mentioned, I mean, if we follow anything, we should take it slowly. But
Slowly, not slowly. No, no, no. Why you misunderstand whatever I'm saying? I'm saying
it's
don't do in such a way that your body will be destroyed. I'm not generalizing this statement. Don't overdo devotional service such that your body cannot, that you just trouble the body to such an extent that it is not available to do anything tomorrow. I didn't say anything about slowing. Don't misunderstand speaker. When speaker is saying, hear what they are saying. Don't add your own interpretation to whatever is being said. I didn't say anything about going slow.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Prabhuji, it's not related to the class, but it is a general guidelines I need. Mm. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, go ahead.
Yes, actually, Prabhuji, like my brother-in-law is blessed with a son, and his mother, being elder in our family, she told not to open the temple, like it is that period, no, of contamination. So,
Mm.
like they are non-devotees, and what should I do? Like,
No, this is all for, see, anything which is not directly related to karma, to bhakti, kula dharma. You have to just follow your family traditions.
okay, but the offering should be made outside the temple. Like,
Yeah,
should I
yeah,
keep?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, offering is you should, you can have photo outside. And generally, in this contamination period, somebody who is not in the contamination should cook. Generally, but because nowadays it's all hotspots, at least we will not contaminate our altar. You can do it outside, but generally the practice previously was that others, society in the society will come in and pitch in during these times, and they will cook like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That help is not available, so I'll keep the temple closed
yeah,
and I'll offer it outside. Okay, Prabhuji.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. But again, I mean, you have to see whether if your brother has a child, does it contaminate you also? I don't know about these things because in South India, we don't have this practice much. So if it is there, then you follow that. That is why I said it is Kula Dharma.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, she's in another gotra, it doesn't contaminate her.
Yeah, I mean, some people have different practices, so I'm not going against that. But if basically that's why Krishna says Kula Dharma, Jati Dharma. That Kula Dharma has to be followed. Now, if that Kula Dharma is something grossly wrong, then I don't know. But generally, what is followed in different families somehow, not maybe fully accurate, but is maybe accurate to some extent, which maybe we can't understand. So general guidance is Kula Dharma. But yeah, like Mataji saying, that's also good consideration because it's a different gotra, so you get completely disconnected. But at the same time, there is also things like, somebody in the relation dies, we still do that contamination period, right? At least, for example, if you go come back, you are contaminated till you take bath. At least that much contamination is there. So, like that, there might be some considerations. I'm not an expert in this, so I will. General guidance that I have got previously when I asked such questions was to just follow Kula Dharma. So that's what I'm saying. Otherwise, you can ask a qualified Vaishnava Brahmana who can tell you.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank
Yeah. Okay. Okay, then we'll close. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnavanda ki jai. Samahita Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranams to everybody.